I loved comedy my whole life. I loved stand-up comedy since I was a kid. Since the first time I saw it. So I was watching specials my whole life and reading and being interested about it. But from Europe, so like with whatever information was trickling down about it back then, like in the 90s or whatever. And then I just wanted to go see comedy when I was living in Thailand. I lived in Thailand for a few years. I lived in Asia for longer. And instead of at the club that was next to my place, there was no comedy that weekend, but they had a workshop to start comedy, and I thought, maybe I can do that, start comedy. Not start comedy, just go and meet friends, and maybe have fun with it. Turns out I really liked it, so then I just kept going.
And that club was in Thailand?
Yeah.
Is that when it started off?
Yeah.
How old were you?
42.
42?
Yeah.
But you always were interested in comedy? Or?
Yeah.
Always, yeah.
Yeah, but it never even entered my mind to do it. Like, I was living in Brussels. There were no comedy clubs when I was in Brussels. The oldest comedy club opened right about the time when I left Belgium to Asia. So I wasn't even aware of anything, like there was no... It was just, that's a cool thing I see on TV that happens mostly in the US and in the UK.
And
that's all I knew, yeah.
Yeah. And so Thailand brought it a little bit further because you met some cool friends or...
Yeah, I just did that workshop and then I just wanted to get out of my house, do something. And I made friends, got me out of the house a few times a week, got to write and have an outlet for my weird thoughts, Just, I can write this down and say it to someone and not be judged, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or be judged because you're bombing or people are laughing, but I mean, you're allowed to say weird things on stage that in normal social setting, people would be like, what the hell is wrong with you? But the moment you touch the stage, it's like, now it's art. If you're off stage, you're a psychopath or a weirdo. On stage, that's so fun.
But you're being modest because there is a lot of work behind it too. I mean, there's...
Yeah, but when I started, there wasn't a lot of work, I had life experience, I guess. But I had weird thoughts my whole life.
But you naturally would make people laugh since you were a kid, or?
That's an interesting question. I wasn't the class clown.
No.
I wasn't the funniest person in the room. But I was definitely always, as we say in French, décalé. I was off beat. Like I was
fringe.
Yeah, I was always saying things. I always had angles or views about a situation that was a bit different from my friends.
Kind of renegade.
Yeah, it was always a little outlier, a little bit.
The outlier, yeah.
So I always had opinions that made people laugh when I dared say them, or it shocked them, or like what
Yeah.
But I wouldn't just try to be funny all the time. No.
So I know that you had a job.
Yeah.
A pretty good job, actually.
Yeah.
Engineering, is that it?
No. Well, I mean, I'm an economist with a specialization in environmental management. But no, I was in a team that does contracts, procurement, purchases, and acquisitions. Let's say that's a term that's pretty common here.
For big companies, or just buying?
No, for government, but but working with companies, with international organizations to buy their services or their supplies or whatever to implement projects that we're financing. Yeah.
And then you have this moment in that career where you're faced with the decision. Okay, do I follow through with my comedy career?
Yeah.
Or do I keep working for this company and choose stability?
But I have had stability for over 20 years, so I know exactly what that looks like. And what it looks like is another 20 years of stability until I retire, and then more years of stability until I die. Like I was just so bored. I was bored out of my mind. Like literally, I couldn't take it anymore. So the choice is: am I more bored than I am afraid of being financially insecure? And it got to the point also where I took steps to prepare for it. So mainly, can I get a work visa for the United States? That's a long process for a lot of people. And the moment I got it was, okay, well now I have more options. And I can be, yeah.
The cat
Cat
wants
needs
to get in.
in.
Come on in. Yep. You could grab her if you want. The Siberian cat.
Siberian cat. Hier, bijja. Hola. Hello.
Like a little tiger.
Hello. He's a fat one. You're heavy. You're fat. What's going on?
Well, Siberian cats they have longer hair and
No.
yeah,
There's a fat. Yeah, no. It looks fat, but I grabbed it and it was definitely fat. It's like, what's going on?
what am I gonna do? I'm gonna keep her from eating and
No, it's fine. It's an American cat.
have her cry all day long. I don't know. I try to cut down the food, but I don't know. She has a good life.
I mean, I can go back to my job if this doesn't work out.
Okay.
So maybe not to the same position, but definitely to a position with the same salary.
Mm.
So I have a year or 2 or 3 where I can still come back.
Okay, so it's not as doom and gloom as you think.
No, it's not total doom and gloom because I was I'm on I obtained the status of official government employee thing. It's a job for life.
Yeah, because you're an artist, or what is that status? Is it?
No, like I mean, civil servant, fonctionnaire in French. You know,
Okay.
like you have a job for government. And you're there for life, like those people that Doge is trying to get rid of everywhere, you know?
I work for the state of Texas, so I know what you're talking about right now.
Exactly, so you have those jobs that a lot of people, well, you can be lazy, you can't get fired, and all that stuff, you know? But we're allowed to take sabbaticals during which we're not paid. Like all the benefits we have just completely cut off. So right now I have no source of income other than comedy. But I could come back I could go back in within a reasonable frame of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you do have a somewhat of a backup plan, but you're going all in right now.
Yeah.
Because I mean you've had a bit of success since you've come here, right?
A little bit, but it's not. It's all a matter of perspective. If it's a lot of success compared for the amount of time that I've been doing comedy, and for when you see the journey for a comedian is it's so hard to get a little bit of a name for yourself, even if you're funny. There's so many comedians. There's more comedians than there are available spots at clubs. That's the way I see it. You know? So
how do you stand out? That's the question.
Well, for me it was Kill Tony made me stand out, and now I can have a credit that says as seen on Kill Tony, during which I've done pretty reasonably good appearances overall. You know, I've had very good ones, but I haven't like completely bombed or discredited myself or, you know, so that now gives me that credit that people be like, oh, well, you know, he can sell a few tickets, you know, so that's more than, but now I can sell a few tickets, so I can do small rooms and hopefully do a good show. And maybe next year, or you know, within a few months, I can come back, sell more tickets, do a bigger room, or you know, now I have to build a career as a comedian.
So that means you need to be a professional at marketing as well, right? It's not just having great jokes.
Yes, but I mean, you can have great jokes, but I have some great jokes. I have some jokes that are mid quality. I think I can put on a good show, but I feel like next year I'll put on a better show. Following year I'll put on an even better show, and I want just to keep getting better at this. I could put a lot of energy in marketing, and I'm gonna try to put more energy into marketing. That's something I need to figure out during this time that I'm taking for this. That's part of being able to do it full time, is also spending more time on creating content, marketing myself, putting myself out there to gain more traction. On the other hand, I know comedians who just have blown off on TikTok, just so good, and they're doing theater tours, they're doing great rooms, you know, and some of them have really good skills as comedians. But I feel like they're more years into comedy than I am, and they have more skills and they're better than me. So I'm not saying I'm better than them. It's not, but I feel like they're selling more tickets than the level that they're at in terms of the quality of their comedy.
I mean, usually it transfers from one field to another.
Yeah,
it's not necessarily the most talented that get the most promotion or manage to sell the most.
I mean, they have some talent, and they've put very hard work in promoting themselves online the right way. So they figured something out that I haven't figured out as well as they have. So I really respect that. It's really hard, it's so difficult to do what they've done for that.
Yeah.
And I'm doing jokes that are a lot about mental health and just difficult life topics and stuff. And so the algorithm, I feel like it doesn't like me very much. Or people don't always want to hear what I have to say in a few jokes, because there's a lot of denial. I see a lot of my crowds are like, this is not why it came out. However, the people, to see comedy, some people just want to hear it. Just hey, give me a joke about some TV show or the Lakers, or they don't want me to get into the deeper internal turmoil. But that's what I like to joke about. However, the people that like it and that get it love it.
Yeah.
But it's not for everybody. So like I'm trying to see how can I attract more people without
alienated and
without losing what I want to do.
Yeah.
So I need to find a fine line.
Your niche.
Yeah.
So you're less pop culture. You're deeper, more philosophical, or satire is your thing.
I don't want to oversell myself, but I'm trying. Yeah. I make jokes for grown-ups that have been through trauma, and not for or for younger people that have been through trauma. But if you haven't been through a lot of trauma, you don't necessarily understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's all. Yeah, that's just it.
Do you think there are comedians that have gone through zero trauma and are hilarious?
No, I'm not saying. There's most comedians become comedians because their lives have been difficult. They need to make people laugh. But some of them do jokes about they want to please people, so they're afraid of entering into some topics, or they just don't want to talk about it. They have other core identities to their comedy. That's perfectly fine. They want to talk about other aspects of life, and I think that's what makes comedy interesting. You go see this comedian because you're going to talk about this, and you're going to see that comedian because you're going to present that to you, like different painters. Like they're all painters, but you have impressionists, you have surrealists, you have abstract, you have concrete, realistic, ultra realistic. So that's fine. I think it's good that there's different types of comedians doing different types of comedy. It's better for everybody and better for the audience.
But that there are some types of humor that are a little bit more harder to make or to come up with, because I've noticed that a lot of comedians now, it's like a big trend. All they want to talk about is cocks and race. It's just always we always go back to these topics.
Well, yeah. So I've noticed that.
Why?
Race is definitely an issue in the United States. It's a core issue in society in the United States. It's very relatable for most U.S. citizens, whether they are from one race or another race. They're all going through some sort of conflict related to race. It's very prevalent in the United States. So making good jokes about race is something that's always going to work. I don't have good jokes about the topic because I just don't understand the problem enough. I haven't lived it. I didn't grow up here. So every time I try to come up with some idea, I'm like, this is just bad. It's still very entry level. I'd like to write about, but this is something I'll figure out over the next few months, about what it's like to be what I am in the United States, which is a Spanish person from Europe with a Spanish name that Latinos consider white, that white Americans consider Latino. That so it's a confusing status.
You never
for
fit in a way.
I never fit in anyway, but but it's I want to understand my status and how people perceive me, and then I'll start writing jokes about it. But I need to go through more interactions with people and really understand how people see me.
Yeah, because there's that, but I feel like it's a very obvious subject to cover simply because it's a very big shock factor.
Yeah.
So it's an easy way to get jokes.
Yeah.
But once you start hearing it over and over and over, it just gets a little bit tiring. Yeah. That's my belief. I mean, well, I'm just like, can't you talk about just minute little things and turn them into... So for example, Louis C.K.'s jokes, he talks about something as simple as a donut or at the airport.
Yeah, but he talks about his visceral emotional experience related to that donut. There's some, it's like what happened with him and that donut. And it gets very personal. So I love Louis C.K. for that.
His cinnamon.
Or like Bill Burr, it's always like from the heart, something that's just pouring out. So these guys are, I mean, I don't write jokes the same way that they do. I mean, for sure, because they're amazing, and I'm not saying, but even my style and delivery is very different. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll evolve to that. I don't know, over the years. Who knows? I don't know. I don't care. Maybe. I hope. It'd be great. It'd be a miracle if I did. But yeah, it's that. But they do talk about race from time to time. But it's just they're so good at it that their angles are very, very, very good. So it's fine.
I feel like maybe the most advanced comedians understand emotional evolution, meaning that there's a lot of variety in their jokes. It goes from and tonality as well. Like it gets more intense and then lower, and then they can be comfortable with the pace, and they can add conflicting emotions. You know, that's 2 layered emotions is harder than just one anger. You know?
Yeah, I mean, like most comedians start. If I look at the scene in Austin, for example, it looks to me like most comedians started in their 20s, mid to late 20s, early 20s for some.
Yeah.
Or in their early 30s. Let's say, but I've started way later. So like, if you're younger and you have less experience, well, what do you know about life, right? So what are the topics that you're familiar with, and what is the easiest path for you to get a laugh so people respect you?
Yeah. Okay.
So to get spots, because if you're fighting with other comedians, not fighting, you're collaborating as well, but you want to get spots. So for that, you need to make people laugh. And you need to make them laugh as fast as possible so you get more spots.
Okay.
Because otherwise you're just stuck not getting spots. So like, okay, what can I talk about? So you go for the path of least resistance, which is what you can write about and what the crowd is going to like. I was lucky in a way that starting in Thailand, the scene was so small. I could kind of always get a couple spots and do my stuff. And it was fine. If I was doing my stuff here, I go on stage and then I bomb because I'm talking about depression and sadness, and it's not well written, and people are like, dude, you're just bumming me out. I've had sometimes I've done shows where people like, one lady was like, you're making me sad, or like even jokes that I say that are staple jokes that I've done on Kill Tony that have absolutely crushed, like done really good. That are my main jokes. Sometimes I tell them to crowds that don't know who I am, or a crowd that's like young people in their early 20s who just wanted a night out. What do we do? What are we doing tonight? Let's do comedy for a change. Not real fans of comedy, and I've said my jokes, and they're like, "Oh, that's so sad. That's." And I'm like, dude, I'm just talking about my cat. Like, but they you know. So,
yeah.
But whatever. This is what I want to do for now. So this is what I'm gonna do until I don't want to do it.
But did you think the job of an entertainer, obviously comedy, you're trying to find laughs here, but...
Yeah, but I've always wanted to be an artist more than I wanted to be an entertainer.
An artist kind of creates emotions in someone who witnesses their art.
When I was a teenager, I was drawing a lot. I wanted to study arts, les beaux-arts.
Me too.
Yes, that's what I wanted to study. Then my family was like, dude, your uncle was a painter. He struggled his whole life. Your cousin has been a painter. He struggled his whole life. And they're not necessarily happy either. It's like this very difficult life. So and I was easy to influence as a kid. So like, then I didn't do it, but it was what I wanted to do. Then I wanted to be a photographer. Then I got pretty good at photography, but I couldn't monetize it. I'm really bad at networking and just being, oh my God, I'm so cool, and like, be cool, and like.
Yeah, you just want to focus on your craft, your art.
Yeah, so now I'm doing my jokes and these jokes, and if I start writing stuff that I don't believe in just to get laughs, to be more commercially viable, then I'll quit comedy. But I want my jokes to be commercially viable. But I want to believe in my jokes. If I don't believe in them, then I can't do it.
Yeah, you can't.
That's not why I'm quitting my job. I'm not quitting something that depresses me because I don't believe in it, to end up somewhere else to do something else I don't believe in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what do you think about what Rick Rubin was saying? You shouldn't focus about the audience. You shouldn't think about them at all. You should do things for you.
I'm conflicted about Rick Rubin. I think he's a genius. I think Rick Rubin is pretty much right with everything. All of these quotes from Rick Rubin are all true, with the caveat that Rick Rubin is a talented genius. Meaning, he did that and he became wildly successful with it. I'm sure he also worked really hard and he put himself in the right spots to be connected to the right people, and was also easy to work with, or not, I don't know, but like clearly people flock towards him to work with him, right? So he's done something, it's not just his ability, it's just I'm assuming, I don't know him, but like, how he works with people is something that's appealing to the people that work with him. So he gets recommended, so it's the whole spectrum of being in it. But a lot of people that are gonna want to be Rick Rubin are gonna fail at being Rick Rubin. They're gonna be like, yeah, just do what works for you, and then it will work out. But there's people that, listen, I was in Tokyo. I love Japan. I was in Tokyo and I went to there's a building in Ginza in Tokyo, which is the posh office district in Tokyo. And there's a building there that a friend showed me. It used to be an old apartment or office building, and inside every apartment, it's like a mini art gallery. So you can rent the space, and it's about the size of your apartment. Mm-hmm. And people have, okay, this is my space, and I occupy it with my art. And then you go to the next apartment, and it's a different gallery, right?
Yeah.
And there was this one guy who was taking photos of flowers, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I bought one. It was wonderful. And he's doing what works for him, as clearly obsessed with flowers, and he's just taking photos of flowers.
Yeah.
He seemed very happy. Now, will he blow up if he keeps doing? And he had been doing this for years, right? But is he gonna blow up, or is he just gonna be a guy that does great photos of flowers that people buy from time to time?
Yeah.
Who's really good at it, just the same level of quality, but will he transcend or not?
Yeah, it's a good point, because that reminds me of my dentist who was passionate about taking pictures of ripples of water.
Yeah.
And so all he had was framed pictures of ripples.
Yeah. But then there's that guy in Hawaii that became famous for his photos of waves and surfers, and now has like huge gallery in Oahu, and his photos sell for thousands of dollars.
So what was his strategy? Where did he go? Did he meet the right people at the right time?
No clue, you see. But yeah, he was connected to the surf world and maybe to other sponsors and stuff, and his photos were great.
Yeah.
But he could have just been a guy that takes photos of waves.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a lot of people just do what works for them, but there's got to be more to it than just that. I don't know what it is yet. I'll find it.
Well, there's another thing that Rick Rubin was saying, is that you have to try to do whatever you're trying to do as perfected as possible.
Yeah.
So you just have to keep drilling until you tone it down to that perfect song.
Yeah, but some people will never reach that level of perfection because they're not.
They don't have the discipline,
or the talent,
or they're not good,
or both. Yeah, they're not good, but they're gonna just like. But if they're delusional, they're gonna convince themselves that if I stay at it.
Yeah.
Well, that's what my friends were saying. You need a level of delusion. To carry yourself far enough to see whether you do have the thing.
Yeah.
But the years of effort that it takes to know that you will never be good enough, it's such a risk.
It is a risk. That's the thing.
Because how many years of my life I'm gonna waste on this to know that I will never be able to be good enough. Because you always tell yourself, well, I'm learning, I'm getting better, I'm learning, I'm getting better. But then, what's your end point? Like, where are you going to stall? Are you going to stall at a very high level, or are you going to stall at a you don't know?
I think the reason why people give up is that, you know, the older you get or the more financially unstable you get, things start getting a little shaky. And at that point, it's like, okay, is this my life commitment? Or am I too scared and I can't pay next month's rent? I got to choose something else. I have this friend called Matthias Faux, and he's a rock photographer in Los Angeles.
Nice.
He was homeless.
Yeah.
He was sleeping on buses. I did a show with him, whatever. But he was with his picture. His mom was a rock photographer, and that's who he was. He was a rock photographer. He would go to concerts, take pictures, and he just kept doing it. No matter how little money he had, he didn't even have enough money to eat. And now he's making a full-time living because he just kept going at it.
Yeah.
But that's the level of risk you have to go through, of sacrifice. Are you willing to take that sacrifice?
I don't know.
You don't know. But you've done it.
No, I've never been homeless.
But you've done a level of sacrifice in the sense that you came to the States, left your job.
Yeah.
Here you are.
But I don't see it as a sacrifice, though.
No.
Because
Okay.
I don't feel like I'm sacrificing something. I feel like it's strange. Like I was telling, I told my mom this. I was like, 3 days after, I'm like, I don't miss my job at all.
Yeah.
I don't miss it at all. And I feel like, yeah, I will know what the level of sacrifice is if things get tough. But so far I have some dates booked. Some money should come in.
Yeah. So you have a market, you're selling some tickets.
Some tickets, yeah. I should make enough to eat in principle, but maybe that will go up or maybe that will go down. And then we'll see what I'm willing to go through.
To put up with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
But I understand that those are possible paths, and I want to stay away from one of them.
Yeah, for sure,
definitely.
For sure.
So yeah.
So you keep working on your craft and keep writing new material, or that's what you do all the time?
I mean, some days I'm more productive than others, but yeah.
Yeah. And then the marketing aspect, are you?
That's I need to figure it out. Today, this morning, I posted a new type of video that I've never posted. See how, but I'm sure the first one is not going to do great. But maybe if I post enough of them, people will start noticing that I'm committed to this. So I'm going to try to do it every week, and then, which is come see my YouTube channel and watch the video, and you'll see what it is. But I just want people to understand what the process of being a joke writing comedian is, as for a one-liner comedian is. And what I go through and how I test my jokes with an audience, and just feel free to comment and participate, you know.
Somewhat of a reality show that shows you.
No. I just want to put, like, instead of just putting, because I've been putting a lot of shorts and reels of like one joke. Let me put a 10-minute video of me testing new jokes, or mostly new jokes. Because you need some jokes that are a little established to carry the rest, so for people to listen to you. Otherwise, they're like, this guy is not funny at all. So you need always something to make them laugh to establish that, like credibility. But overall, it's mostly new jokes. And be, like, hey, comment, like, engage, like, tell me, did you like this joke? Did you not like this joke? Do you have an idea how you can solve this joke? Where would you go with this? And try to get some community engagement and with my little ideas, and see if people want to participate or not.
Yeah, you're open sourcing basically.
That's exactly it. Open source was the terms I was thinking about yesterday. Let's open source my jokes.
Yeah, your career.
Except I'm the one presenting them. But then if you come see me live at a show, and you'll see an hour of something put together.
Yeah.
Of some of these jokes will be in it, some of them won't.
Yeah.
You will see the final form of something if I figured it out and I don't put it online, just so that there's a little, try to have that. Hey, like, let's all work together to make me better and to communicate better with the people that enjoy what I'm doing.
Yeah. So tell me about How many times have you gone to the States? Is it
For comedy,
yeah, or just in general?
in general, a lot.
A lot.
So my
Since you were a kid, or
my parents are separated, and my dad used to live in Los Angeles. He's back in
okay.
Spain now. So when I was a young teenager, when you can fly as an unsupervised minor, you know, like they put a little.
How old?
Like 12 or
12?
13,
Okay.
yeah. So I went to LA the first time. I've done several road trips in the US. Yeah, I've done the Northeast, like between New York and Maine. I've done every state. I've done the Northeast, like between.
Is your dad driving you around?
No, just me. Like, you know, like I've done a lot of road trips. I've done, like, you know, from, what was it, Seattle to like, what was it?
With your hard-earned 12-year-old money?
No. That was when I was 12. No, I came for holidays. But since then, I've been to the US a bunch.
Okay.
I've done many trips to the United States. I've done, you know.
Yeah, you've performed and everything. But so how did you learn your English?
In school?
In school.
Yeah, just school.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
School and watching TV.
School and watching TV.
Yeah, so in Belgium, the French-speaking channels had content only in French. However, the Dutch-speaking channels had content in English with Dutch subtitles. So I could watch all the TV shows in English.
Okay.
And then at the movies, it was generally in English with subtitles in French and Dutch because of politics, that they don't want to say that they favor one language over the other than just putting up 4 lines of subtitles. So you can go and watch a movie in English, an English-speaking movie in English.
Yeah.
And then I had a lot of good, like I went to a school that had a good, you know, language program. So, but I still have an accent. But yeah.
No, but it's pretty good. People understand you, obviously, since you went to Madison Square Garden.
No, I didn't go. No.
No, you weren't?
No, I wasn't.
What was it? Which one was it?
I was a LA Forum.
Oh, LA Forum.
Yeah.
Well, it looked like something as big as that.
Yeah, it was very big, dude. When I was at that venue and I saw there's like a huge wall with all the bands that I've played there, and I was like, holy shit, this is incredible.
Is that a different feeling compared to, let's say, a small venue? And how are they different?
Well, the main difference is you have to adapt your delivery to the room because there's more delay with the sound.
Ah.
And I still don't know how to do that properly. It takes years of skill building. With Kill Tony, you're thrown into that very fast. And the other one is, yeah, of course, I mean, it's just the nerves, you know, like, yeah, it's a huge stage in front of thousands of people where normally you're performing to, you know, 10, 30, 50, 100, 200, 300 people.
How do you keep the nerves from affecting you when you have 15,000 people just cheering or booing?
I don't. That's a very good question. I don't know if I found a final answer to that. But my answer as of now would be accept my nerves. Instead of fighting the fact that I'm nervous, accept the fact that I'm nervous.
So embrace that.
Not necessarily embrace it. It's not like, oh, I'm going to channel it positively and all that. It's more, I accept that I'm nervous. It's normal for me to be nervous because it is a high pressure situation. There's thousands of people that are going to see this. There's millions of people that are going to watch the episode online, right? It's okay for you to be nervous. Don't punish yourself because you're nervous. Just be nervous. Just remember your jokes. Remember what you're supposed to do. If you're nervous, it's okay. It's the same thing I tell myself when I feel sad or depressed. It's okay. You're depressed now. It will go away. Just wait until tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow after a night of sleep, you'll feel better. Maybe go eat. Maybe go out. So if I'm depressed, I'm like, okay. Or if I'm nervous before the thing, I'm like, okay, just go talk to some people. Don't let it just, go talk. Go have a walk before you perform. Mm-hmm. Don't obsess too much about it.
Get your mind prepared. Off of it, yeah.
But don't punish yourself because it's a cycle of negative emotions. I feel like that's how I've identified it. I don't know where I grabbed that, but that's at least how I see it is. I feel bad. Now I punish myself for feeling bad because I'm supposed to not feel bad. Therefore, I feel worse You know?
Yeah.
So the idea is, if you feel something negative, don't punish yourself. Just accept that it's normal. The same way that if I feel very happy, tell yourself, enjoy it. It will fade. It's only because you're surrounded with your friends right now. You're having a good time. Hey, just have a good time. Maybe tomorrow you'll feel like shit. So don't waste it right now.
Yeah.
Don't
jinx it.
Don't jinx it. Well, not superstition, but more like don't. I'm not gonna punish myself for feeling bad, and I'm not going to reward myself for feeling good.
Yeah. So stay in the present. Just be.
Try. Yeah. Just it's fine. All of these emotions is your brain and the chemicals in there and whatever, and it's fine. It's all part of human nature. Just chill. It's okay.
They say if you think too much about the past, that causes depression.
100%.
If you think too much about the future, it causes anxiety.
I agree with that 100%.
You
It's a
have
good
to
statement.
stay in the present, and it's very hard to stay in the present.
Yeah, I suffered from nostalgia 100%.
Because actually, I think the more you consider your career important, the more you understand the stakes are so high. And if I fuck up this day, then my whole career is over, right? So is there a way to just say, you know what, it's not going to matter. It does not matter. Tomorrow people are going to forget. People have an attention span of a hummingbird, so it does not matter. And news moves so fast in this world. So
no, for that I can't remember who said this. I'm sorry if this came from a podcast or this came from, I don't know where I got the idea. I know it's not my idea. I know I got it from somewhere, but it's this idea, the Eminem 8 Mile song, one chance, one opportunity, and that culture, right?
Yeah.
But no, life gives you a bunch of chances. Failure is part of life. And as a comedian, at least, if you progress positively in your career, the stakes only get higher. The stakes will only get higher.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you look at Kill Tony, they were doing a show in front of a few people at the Comedy Store, to then doing the show in the main room of the Comedy Store, to then doing the show at Mothership and helping open a club, to then a first arena show, to then a bigger arena show, to then more viewers, to then it just keeps getting higher. But at my level, I'm like, okay, now you have these stakes, now you have these stakes, and you have these stakes. I'm gonna fail at some point, and I have failed at several of them.
Yeah.
Okay, how do I rebuild and go around it, and how do I overcome it? The stakes only get higher all the time.
Yeah.
And even if you keep failing, the stakes are still higher, because then you're closer to being homeless, right? So every moment that you're on the downward trend is still more pressure. It doesn't matter if you're going up or down, stakes get higher somehow.
Yeah.
Unless you have a very reliable income, then there's no stakes.
Are there? Even if you have,
At my day job, I had 0 stakes. None. I just went to work.
I'm saying, let's say you have a team, you have a lot of income.
I didn't. So this is the thing. I got the last job I had, right?
Yeah.
I did they were doing my appraisal at work, right? So they put a carrot in front of you. It's the carrot and the stick thing. They try to evaluate me and tell me, because it's an annual appraisal, they look over what you've done, your results, you have a job description, which they try to have little indicators of you've accomplished this, you've not accomplished that, this is good, where can we improve, and they were like, well, if you want to be a manager, then you should be doing this, you should try to get into this position, because if you work on this particular project, this is a project that's valued very highly in terms of you then getting management duties and that. And I just looked at my boss and I told them, I don't want to be a manager. And they were like, what do you mean? I have no aspirations to have management. I just want to get up, come here, do my job, go home. Because the way the job is done is, as long as I do my job correctly, I'll be appraised positively. I'm saying you have to do the job. And then there are rules, statutory rules, that say that after a few years, my salary has to increase by a specific percentage.
Yeah.
So no matter what I do, as long as I do my job half decent, or even if I do it poorly, I'm still gonna make slowly more money.
Yeah. No, I know. I had the same.
Yeah.
State of Texas, I had a job.
So
same thing. I know exactly what you're saying.
So the only thing they have to try and push you is try to, if you get into the game of, I want to be a manager, and then I want to be at a higher grade manager, Then they squeeze you out, and they mess with your head. But the moment you tell them, you got nothing over me, I do not care. I have enough money to live. With this money, I can pay my rent. I can pay for my holidays. I can pay for my trips. I don't need to be rich. I'm wealthy enough that I'm comfortable. I don't need a Porsche. I don't need a Ferrari. I don't need to buy 6 houses. I just don't care. I just need to have enough money to have the exact lifestyle I have right now. I'll be very happy until the day I die. And they were like, what?
Yeah.
No stakes, 0 stakes.
Yeah.
But to get to that point, it took me years of like 2-year contract, 3-year contract, 2-year contract, 3-year contract. Pass exams, study, pass exams, study, pass exams. To get the status I had, I failed that thing 10 times. Of depression, of failing and failing and failing and failing and failing and failing. So it wasn't that I just got this thing magically and I have no stakes and my life is easy. It was awful until I passed that. And then I earned that. 0 stakes, easy peasy. Yeah, I can finally chill out of living in Asia, living in Africa, going through hard times, just be confronted with like poverty, death, difficult, like a lot of it. It's that was sacrifice, and then I earned that. And sacrifice time of to pass my exam, while I was working, I was still studying 4 hours a day for a year and a half. Just studying, and still writing jokes and doing comedy at night, and working.
So comedy-wise, you kept studying as well?
Yeah.
In a way?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you understand the process. If you can make it in one field.
I hope I can replicate it, but I'm a 47-year-old guy who has had a very specific career that doesn't require you to be business-minded. So those are skills that I haven't developed. That a guy who's 20, by the time he's 30, so 17 years younger than me, he's been in it for 10 years of experience of fighting in that. So I don't know. I'll do what I can,
Patience in keeping the fight.
Yeah, but there's a comedian in Brussels, part of our little group. He's 18. He just moved back to Brussels, and I was like, dude, in 20 years, when you'll be 38.
Yeah.
So when you'll be 10 years younger than I am now, you will be 20 years into comedy if you keep going.
If he doesn't fuck up.
But what I'm saying is,
it's pretty easy.
If he's really persistent,
yeah,
he'll be 20 years in. So I can't just make up for that in a year.
Yeah.
Of course, I have life experience that has taught me some skills. So some skills are transferable, but others I'm learning from scratch. Like all the content making and all the,
you've managed to reach a certain pinnacle that other comedians will never reach. So that's already something. That's the universe telling you something.
It's something, but I'm so far from where I want to be. I want to be so much better.
But you're working on it.
I'm working on it, yeah.
Well, right now, being in front of the cameras, that's part of your business aspect of things.
I'm in front of a camera.
Although this YouTube channel only has like 200 subscribers, so it's not
really...
fine. It's not that relevant.
It doesn't matter. The video might still get more views than my channel with more subscribers because the algorithm is what it is. Yeah, and you don't know. It depends how you clip it and what you do with it. And
yeah. That's true.
How we post it and whether it's relevant, whether some of them touch the right audience with the right hashtags and description and thing. You don't know.
It's never ending. The marketing aspect of things.
So how many jobs do you have? Like what recommendations would you have to...
How many jobs?
Yeah, because you're like a coach. You work for the state of Texas. You're like...
And I also have this similar... background as you do. I'm French, American, Irish, Yugoslavian. My mother's from Chicago and my dad's from France.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, you don't really fit in one specific box. How many jobs? Well, I'm personal coach for Muay Thai. I used to do group classes at 10th Planet and filmed instructional videos because I'm also a filmmaker. I went to French film school and then got a scholarship to go to University of Texas.
Did you do Muay Thai in Thailand?
Yeah, I had fights in Thailand. And,
nice, that's a whole thing. I had some fighter
in Los
friends
Angeles and Paris.
Well,
But I don't have that many fights in.
No, don't have too many fights in.
No.
Keep your brain.
Yeah, I mean, you take a look at Israel Adesanya. He has hundreds of fights.
Yeah.
The most I've ever heard was 800 fights in a whole career. 800 fights.
No, that's insane.
In Laos. Yeah. The Thais, they have up to 400 fights easily.
I never went to watch
crazy.
fights. I lived in Laos as well. But yeah, I never went to watch fights there.
I mean, they fight every 2 weeks.
Yeah. No, it's insane.
Since they're kids.
Since they are literal kids.
Sometimes every week. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just...
And when we say kids, it's like 8-year-old kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's something that the Western civilization has a hard time wrapping their heads around. But these guys, I mean, they do it because they need to eat.
Yeah.
Gambling is illegal, yet gambling is the way they manage to eat.
Yeah.
It's tolerated.
It's
Interesting.
Well, if it's tolerated as long as you're, as long as they don't want to mess with you, because then they have the moment they want to put you in prison, they'll just do it.
Yeah.
Because they know you're gambling.
Well, I know this story. For example, this French boxer stole a pair of sunglasses, for $8 pair of sunglasses at the airport. The Thai government took that guy and said, well, you're going to have to pay $25,000 or you end up 8 years in prison. Yeah, you don't mess around.
They don't mess around because they're trying to see how much money they can get out of you.
Yeah.
Did he pay $25,000 or he was able to just negotiate it down?
I don't know. He wasn't a close friend, so I don't know. I don't even know.
Because a lot of those
what his
stories
name-
is maybe they know something else about the guy. Or maybe they're like, oh, they threaten you with 25K, and then you're like, well, can I pay 5K? And all right, they just want money. They just want to cash in.
But it's also, well, you just can't steal things in Thailand.
And yet people steal things all the time.
It's not like San Francisco where you can actually steal stuff and just get a misdemeanor. That's not going to happen in Thailand. You don't get this.
Yeah, but then you're in Thailand and you see what's going on, and you're like, okay, this guy is getting 8 years in prison because he's stealing sunglasses. Meanwhile, A, B, C, D, E,
Yeah.
It's insane. It's
So you're saying the person had a lot more backstory?
Yeah, but also he's white.
He's white too.
Yeah, if a homeless Thai guy had stolen the pair of sunglasses,
yeah, they'd give him a kick in the pants. And
they would have just kicked his ass or something.
Yeah.
Like what, So it's or not, or maybe he would have put him in jail. You don't know, but I feel like in some countries, I'm not saying Thailand specifically, there's the law.
Yeah.
And then they choose to whom they apply the law strictly. Yeah, we can choose when we apply the law or not, kind of thing.
Well, I heard that police is very different, whereas like a policeman is kind of his own town sheriff. Like he has more possibilities than a policeman in the U.S., for example. The policeman in the U.S. has to report.
To an extent, yes. There's more accountability, a little more.
But in Thailand, they're just on motorcycles and they just can decide this is the law. I don't know.
I mean, again, there are laws that are being applied and there's regulations and Thailand is an economy that's growing, so I think the application of the law is constantly improving. Mm-hmm. But then you see some silly stuff that just doesn't make any sense, and you're like, how come this guy gets 8 years because he stole a pair of sunglasses, but then this guy is going with a motorcycle driving, 60 miles an hour in a 20-mile zone, and then he's crashing and then killing 3 people, and then nothing happened. You know what? I don't know. You don't know.
Yeah.
Like there's
I mean, there's also nepotism, right? I mean, right?
But there's also nepotism here.
Here too, yeah.
Yeah.
You know someone, they'll get you out of jail, or they'll minimize your...
But that happens everywhere. Nepotism is unavoidable.
Unavoidable.
That's how I see it. You can't go around nepotism.
Well, based off of this ending statement, I think it's a good first podcast. Thank you.
Oh, no problem, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And if you're...
To nepotism.
To nepotism. Yeah. Well, we can do another one if you want.
Yeah, anytime, man.
Dig deeper.
It was fun.
Yeah. So thank
When
you.
I start mine, I'll invite you over. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah. See what we can come up with and get more comfortable. I understand why Joe Rogan, for example, has guests that he sees over and over again, because he gets more comfortable with talking to them, and then you can get a little bit deeper in the subjects. Yeah. So hopefully we'll get to that point. I don't know.
We'll get to that point.
See, you're positive. Good. You're no longer anxious.
If I'm still alive, we might get to that point.
Well, I wish you good luck on your future career.
Thank you, man. I wish you good luck.
Yeah, thank you. You just said good luck. You didn't mention the word career. You're like, no.
Because I don't know, maybe you'll change careers.
Yeah, I change it all the time. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Ciao.
Bye. Bye. Bye.